Hi and welcome to the first episode of Season 8 of ECCB Connects. We kick off the season by looking at a new and exciting project the ECCB is undertaking. Deputy Governor Trevor Brathwaite will tell us about the new family of EC notes that will be issued in 2019. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
Bonjour, moi c'est Milia Joseph Hod Dominique avec ou kagade ECCB Connects qui ka ende protéger l'argent et développement région.
Deputy Governor, welcome to the first episode of Season 8 of ECCB Connects.
Thank you, Siobhan. I'm happy to be first. And thanks for the welcome.
The ECCB is moving in an exciting direction. The material for the EC notes will be changed from the cotton base to polymer. What is polymer?
Well, polymer is a much more durable substrate with a number of features that enhances the durability of the note. So the expectation is that the note will last much longer time in circulation than the current paper-based cotton notes. So that is one of the exciting features, because if the notes last longer in circulation, eventually it will reduce the cost that the central bank has to incur in printing notes. So that long-term benefit will be a reduction in cost. So hence the use of the polymer substrate.
Why did the ECCB take the decision to make the switch from the paper to polymer? So
our research indicates that this is the new direction that a lot of issuers of currency are moving into. If we go around the world and we look at countries that are now issuing notes, they are issuing notes on this new substrate. And for precisely the reason that I indicated before, because it's longer lasting, and one always needs to look at what is happening in the development of notes production, the new technology that arises from that. And as I will explain a little later, the use of this new substrate introduces some security features that you will not get with the current paper-based notes that are issued by us.
Let's now look at some of the features of the polymer notes. What will change?
The difference between the current note and the new notes to be issued is the orientation of the notes. So the note will be lateral in that sense, not horizontal. And then if you're pulling out that note, you will look from the top to the bottom. So that is going to be a major feature of these notes, right? So all the features, the security features that we currently have on the current note will be enhanced, will remain, so that persons who are using the notes will see that there's some familiarity. So we didn't want to disturb, the concept of notes that people have been accustomed to for all of these years, and just enhance the features of the notes, new graphics of the same features but enhanced graphics using more modern technology in order to enhance these features.
Okay, so the $5 will still be green, the 10 will still be blue, the 20 will have that purplish, the 50, we know there'll be some changes to the 50, we'll talk about that later. But the colors will be the same.
The colors will be
the
same.
Features, most of the features, just the orientation.
Just the orientation. However, because of the use of this new substrate, we are able to get enhanced security features. So for the $20, $50, and $100 note, we have what we call a holographic window. Now, it's a see-through window. So when you hold a note up into the air and into light, you will see through that holographic panel. What makes that a very important security feature is that if someone tries to copy that note, let's say put it on a photocopier or whatever, as a counterfeit, that portion will turn out black. And so right away, it would have spoiled the efforts of any counterfeiter. Now the $5 and the $10 have similar holographic windows, but on a smaller scale. So there, if you look at the note, there's a triangle with a future plant, colored plant, and in that, that holographic window, it's a smaller one, but a triangular one, you will have the same feature. So if the notes are held up, you can see through that particular holographic window. But the $20, $50, and $100, which are higher denominational notes, we have opted to include a full holographic pane, if you want to call it that, with features embedded in it, so that one holding up the note into light will see the features through the pane. It's see-through, but then it will enhance the ability of the note not to be counterfeited.
And that's one thing, one way residents and citizens can differentiate between a genuine note and a counterfeit note, because if you do not see that see-through window, you know right away that it's
in
not
fact,
a genuine
if the
note.
note is copied, you will not be able to see that see-through window, right? Because it's a special technique in using the holographic windows, because these are manufactured. So any attempt to counterfeit that note will be thwarted by either, if it, as I said, if it is photocopied. Some people have tried photocopying the current notes, and
some of them have some sophisticated
ways and machines like that, but it will turn out to be just black. Okay. All right.
So making the EC dollar more secure.
More secure. An additional feature of the new notes is that we will have a tactile feature for visually impaired individuals, so that they can feel the note, right? Feel what each denomination will have a different tactile feature. It is not a Braille feature. So we want to make that distinction, because our research indicates that not many of our citizens are familiar with Braille, right? They do not use Braille consistently as we would like. So what we've done is to have a tactile feature. In other words, it's like raised bumps on the note itself, and it is distinguishable by the denomination of the note.
So different shapes.
Different shapes. So the $5, for example, is a circle. Yeah.
Now, one other exciting feature of the Polymer will be the new $50 note. Tell us about this.
So we're pretty excited about this. The $50 note will now have the image of Sir K. Dwight Venner on the note. You know, the $100 note has Sir Arthur Lewis. So the $50 note will now have an image of Sir K. Dwight Venner on it. So we're very excited. And in fact, the timing of production for the notes is that the $50 and the $100 notes will be done first. So they'll be the first set of notes out in circulation before the other denominations. So we can look forward to that event in sometime next year, by the middle of next year, when these notes will be put into circulation, and our citizens now will be able to see an image of Sir K. Dwight Venner on the $50 note. You know, when Sir K. Dwight Venner passed, there were a lot of submissions that came to the central bank with respect to honoring his legacy, the time that he spent with the central bank. And we made sure that that is a long-lasting memory that we can put in place because of his efforts in establishing the central bank and managing the central bank over the 25, 26 years that he did.
So you've mentioned the features, the enhanced security features. Now, with respect to residents, citizens, people who use the EC dollar, what's the benefit to them, this change from the cotton-based to Polymer?
The notes that they use are going to be more secured, more security enhanced, and therefore feel confident that they can use the notes full satisfaction. So we expect that our citizens will warm very nicely to these new notes.
But what sort of change will people need to make with this new note? With a cotton-based note, they're soft, they're easy to fold. With the polymer, what sort of changes will people need to make when they're using the notes?
We don't think that there will be a significant change, because our research indicates that countries who have issued notes on that substrate, there has not been any difficulty in transiting from polymer or from cotton to polymer. You know, our research indicates, for instance, in the UK, where the pound is now issued on polymer notes, that citizens there have not been adversely affected. They have accepted the fact that it's on this new substrate in Canada and in Australia. And so there are a variety of countries in the so-called first world where the substrate is used. We will be the first in this part of the world to issue all our notes, a family of notes on this particular substrate. Trinidad and Tobago had issued a $50 on a polymer for an anniversary of independence, I believe, some time ago. And so that's the only existing polymer substrate note in our jurisdiction at this point in time. So we are leading in this particular area, and we expect that eventually central banks, once we have had the benefit of this experience, will see the benefit of issuing notes on this particular substrate. And as I indicated earlier, Shimalon, there are costs that are involved. So if the notes last a longer time in circulation, then we will have to order notes less frequently, and hence the cost for the notes over time will be reduced. Now that's a benefit, because the central bank is a central bank for 8 of our countries. And in determining our profitability, if we reduce costs, then that means the return to the owners of the central bank, the governments, will be enhanced through our dividends, etc. And of course, these will trickle down through the economies in our countries. So,
and of course, also keeping up with international practices with respect to
precisely. And this is the trend that is occurring now within the international community, where issuers of notes are moving from the paper-based substrate to polymer substrate. So we are moving with the trend.
Okay. Did you know change sometimes doesn't go over well with everybody? Some people are will catch on quickly, others will be timid. What do you have to say to our citizens and residents who may feel a bit timid about the change in the material for our EC dollar?
It is not something that one should be, frightful about. We know that persons sometimes react differently to change. And that is why before we start issuing the currency in this new format, we will have a lot of public sensitization programs. And so have the opportunity to interact with our citizens, particularly with our banks. So we are like the warehouse. We buy the currency, we store it, and we distribute it to our member states. But the banks are the ones who are responsible to have the notes in circulation. So whether they have them at the ATMs, have them at the counter when we go into the banks and want some money from our savings account or what have you, the banks are responsible. So we need to have a lot of public sensitization with these institutions and at the same time with our citizens. And particularly, one of the things that we want to focus on is the education program for our sight-impaired persons. We want them to appreciate that you can use the money comfortably, you can feel for the tactile feature so that you know whether you're pulling out of your purse or your wallet a $5 as opposed to a $50 or $100. We tried.
And that's an enhancement because that does not exist on the current.
Well, we tried using some kind of a feature which used a theme along cricket theme, stumps and a cricket ball. But because of the paper, the feature lasted only on fresh notes. As the notes got older, then that feature eroded. So with Polymer, our expectation is that it will be something that will last throughout the life of the note, and not as in this present instance.
Deputy Governor, thank you very much for speaking with us
welcome.
on ECCB Connect.
Thank you very much.
You're watching ECCB Connects, protecting our currency, developing our region. And now for this week's financial tip.
Emergencies happen when you least expect them. Put something aside to cover the unexpected. Aim to have at least 3 months' salary set aside for emergencies.
To view any episode of ECCB Connects anytime, any place, at your convenience, check us out on YouTube or Facebook at ECCB Connects.
We've come to the end of this week's episode of ECCB Connects. Thank you very much for watching, and we invite you to join us again next week when we look at bank fees and charges. See you then.